This is our barn owl, one of the birds in our collection. This bird here has no physical injury to its body, so the only reason we have it is because it's a retired falconry bird. This owl weighs about 1.5 pounds, so if you have a basketball at home, you can hold that out. That's about what she feels like. This one we also know is a female. She has laid eggs for us before. With other birds, there's no way to guarantee if they are a male or a female. We can guess based off of weight, but unless they actually lay an egg like this bird did, we don't know for sure. We got this bird in 2016. In the wild, they live on average 4 to 5 years. In captivity, we can extend that lifespan, and they've lived up to 25 years. So barn owls have the name barn owl because one of the habitats that they can live in is farmlands, and they'll nest in barns. So you can ID her by looking at her heart-shaped face. You can also look at her legs, and you can see she's got really long legs there. You can find this bird out in open fields. They love places where they can just watch and listen for rodents running around. Their main food source is going to be rodents, and especially mice is their favorite, but other things like moles and voles and shrews. A nesting pair can consume over 20 mice every single night during breeding season. If you have a farm or if you have a rodent problem, you want to have one of these birds by you so that way they can take care of all of those rodents for you. So this owl here hunts not using its eyesight, it actually uses its hearing. It's really cool. Scientists did a study on this species to find out that they actually rely more on their sense of sound rather than their sense of sight. The way they figured that out is they put a bird in a room with no lights along with a mouse, came back later and the mouse was gone. And then they did a study giving its eyesight back. They put it in a bright room. They put a mouse in that same room. This time they put a piece of paper attached to a mouse's tail, and as the mouse ran along, its tail would scrape along the ground and it would make noise, and they watched every time a barn owl, when it was hungry and hunting, it pounced not on the mouse that it could see, but on the piece of paper that was making the noise. They've got this heart-shaped face here that they use to help funnel the sound, kind of like a satellite dish, into their ears. They can control all of those feathers and move them around if they need to help them hear better. They also have asymmetrical ears. So they have one ear up over here, one ear down over here, so that way they can hear not only what side the sound is coming from, but also how high up or down it is, so they can pinpoint exactly where that mouse is that is making noise. It's really cool. So other interesting facts about this bird, they actually have the longest wing to body ratio. So they have very long wings compared to their body size. It's pretty cool. They are one of the few birds that can kind of hover. They can move their wings in such a way that they're slowly moving and almost stand still. They also have silent flight, like all owls do. They have a fringed edge to their feathers that allow them to make no noise while flying and sneaking up on their prey. They use the cover of night to help them hunt. This bird is one of over 20 subspecies of barn owls in the world. This one here in particular is a Eurasian barn owl, so she's not even native to America. They are found on 6 out of 7 continents. The only continent they're not found on is Antarctica. This bird is doing really well population-wise now. It used to be an endangered species. In Michigan it still is, but that's because we're on the upper end of their habitat range. And one of the reasons, actually 2 of the reasons why their populations have gone down in the past has to do with DDT poisoning, and then also rodenticides. So poisoning rats and mice, they will eat the poison and then it doesn't kill them right away, and so they go and walk around, and as they're walking they get slower and slower and slower, and it just makes it really easy pickings for these birds to go and find that mouse or that rat that has poison. Once they consume that animal, they actually get poisoned themselves, and so it's kind of secondary poisoning that these animals suffer. And it's not great. So if you do have a mouse or a rat problem in your neighborhood or in your yard, don't poison the animals, just create habitat for these birds to come in and they can take care of that problem for you. These birds are kind of like the basis of ghost stories. If you look at her heart-shaped face, and then if we open her wings here again, and look at the inside of them, she is very white on the underside. And as she's flying around, like we said, she flies silently, and she also has this very, very, very scary sounding call. Like, it doesn't sound like an owl at all. It's just like a scream almost. And so just imagine you are in a barn in the middle of the night, and all of a sudden you see something white with big wings and like a weird shaped face, and it's just screaming at you. I don't know about you, but I'd be terrified.